I'm going to show you how you can take a texture, which is a picture, that somebody has on their computer who's got permissions, and that person can send the picture to you. Right now, I haven't found a way that you can upload it directly. It might be that the avatars don't have enough permission. So what I'm going to do is go in as both this guest avatar that I am here, and I'm going to bring in another avatar who will give the guest avatar some pictures. Here's me as the avatar with the permissions, this little girl, and she's going to give, I'll put my speech on, she's going to give, no, that creates an echo. She's going to give Test 11 some pictures that she's got on her computer. And so the way this is going to work is she's going to open something on her computer and actually give it to the guest avatar. So you don't need to see that part of it, but notice what's going to happen to the guest. She's going to send something over to him, and it will show up on his computer. So I'm moving back to being the guest, and watch what's going to happen to him. Okay, I sent you something, and you'll see up in the upper right corner, it says, Eileen O'Connor has given you this texture, science symbol. When you see something like that, click Accept, and it's going to go into your inventory. Now I'm going to give you something else, and we'll see if you waited a little while. If you weren't there when I sent something to you, it's going to look different. So hold on while I send you something else. Now let's say your avatar wasn't there to accept something. What happens is if somebody sends you something and you weren't there, the message turns tiny. And I could click this to open it up, and it shows me that Eileen O'Connor was in a conversation with me. So I'm going to open it up, and here it is. Okay, it's way over here. It looks like it said science symbol, which I opened, but it is giving you another texture called field trip. So I want to look at this and always read. There's lots of opportunities to do things, but right now I'm going to accept it. If you didn't trust the person it came from, you would discard it, okay? Or you could show it, but then you'd have to go get it again from that person. So I'm going to accept it, and we'll have to see where it went. It went into my inventory, and I'm going to send you one more thing. I sent you another picture with some science backgrounds, and you were there, so I'm just going to have to accept it because I trust me. Okay, so if you trust the person, accept them. Now they've gone into your inventory. Let's take a look and see if we can find them. Okay, we're looking into the inventory, the suitcase down here in the bottom right. I'm clicking it open. Here come all the items. Your inventory has a lot of things in it, and you can open each one of these. There's a little twisty, shows you what's underneath it. You could also just look at the things that have come in recently since you were here, and oh, lo and behold, I can see the pictures that I got. But let's go back over to inventory, just so that you learn how to use this. And these are important places. The objects that you get, you can use them when you're here, but you don't want to get it too junked up. Okay, I'm closing the inventory just by clicking the little X. And I'm now having my avatar start building. And because I have a mouse, I right-clicked on the ground, and I'm clicking Create. And I have lots of things I could create. I'm going to just stick with the basic cube. Okay, and I'm going to get my magic wand on. Lots of other things you can do, but I'm just going to make a basic cube. And while I have these little arrows, I'm now holding Shift and Control on the keyboard, which gives me, if I pull out the white things, it moves all the dimensions. Now I'm using the arrows, and if I just pull out the green one, I stretch it one way or another. Okay, I'm not going to stretch it too much. I want to show you something important here. Move this over, and those textures that you just brought in can be put on this box. Now, if you remember, I'm going to hold Control on my keyboard. It's one way to tip this a little bit. Okay, and because I want to make this easy for you to see, I'm going to make the whole thing very bright. Okay, now right now it's a cube. Cubes have 4 sides and a top and a bottom. In the computer here, it calls each one of those sides a face. Okay, so if I just went and put a texture on here, it's going to cover all the faces, like this wood texture is. So what I'm going to do now is select one of the faces, and you see it puts this little round thing on it. Right now, all the faces are selected, so I'm going to just click the one I want. Okay, I'm just going to click this front one. And now I'm going to go under Textures, and I'm going to find, okay, I can click and drag this over. I'm going to find all the textures I have. Okay, and here I have one called the Field Trip, Science Symbols. Let me see what Field Trip is. Now I'm left clicking on it, and I could simply say OK, which would apply it, or I could click and drag it over. So anyway, it's right here, so we just say OK. So now I've got one face. Okay, and I'm going to click back on it. I'm right-clicking to get that little edit thing back. And I'm now, I have the arrows, holding Control on the keyboard, turning it around a little bit. And let's put on one of the other textures. Okay, when I click Textures, it says I have multiple textures. Over time, you'll get tons of textures. Let me put my science symbol. Oops. Uh-oh, I forgot. Okay, let me cancel that. Oh, what happened was I put my science symbol on top of the other ones. Okay, so now I showed you how every single thing is going to have the science symbols on it. Okay, let me go back and change one of these faces. Okay, so I'm going to go here, and this time I'm going to be careful. I'm going to select the face first, and I'm going to just click one of them. Okay, and let me go into my textures, and let's click and drag this over so you can see it better. Let me make my Field Trip go on that one. Okay, so now when I say OK, and I'm holding, right-clicking back on it to edit, I'm holding Control on the keyboard, turn it around. Now I have a picture on that one. Supposing I want to turn it, maybe I just want the top to be white. So I'm clicking back on it. This time I'm going to remember to select the face. I clicked on top. And this time I'm going to the texture, but I'm going to tell it to just make it blank. Okay, so I'm going to make this one, hopefully just the one side. Yeah, okay, making the top white. And so when I'm finished, I can say OK and go out. Now I'm right-clicking back on this to get the handles, to get the arrows, and I'm clicking, dragging. You can see that what I've done was change 2 of the faces. I've got, well, 3. I have a white face on the top. Well, now it's on the bottom. I've put the Field Trip people, they're kind of standing on their head, and I have my science symbols. So you would take any textures that you have, that you like, or that were given to you, and bring them over and put them on the different faces, and then you would play with this just the way you've been doing with other things. You could link it together, you could make copies of it, you could twist it, you could do all sorts of things, but basically this shows you how to take a texture and put it on the different faces. So good luck with that.